The Sydney Morning Herald has some terrific reporting on Julian Assange and what the U.S. government plans to do with him. First, they reported this. Australian diplomatic cables released to Fairfax Media under Freedom of Information laws over the past 18 months have confirmed the continuation of an unprecedented U.S. Justice Department espionage investigation targeting Mr. Assange and WikiLeaks. So, the Swedes will not promise Julian Assange not to turn him over to the United States. They say, oh, no, we're interested in these sex charges. But they say, okay, great, we'll come and adjudicate the sex charges if you promise you won't extradite us to the U.S. Sweden says, nope, we won't make any promises like that. And now we find out, as we suspected, that of course the Justice Department is considering a massive case against Assange. So it gets much worse. Now, apparently, they found information about an investigation that the government was doing on someone they thought might be cooperating with WikiLeaks. Now, whether they're right or wrong on that is unclear, and apparently they didn't have great evidence on it, but the information we have is the important part. Let me read it to you. Declassified US Air Force counterintelligence documents released under the US Freedom of Information laws reveal that military personnel who contact WikiLeaks or WikiLeaks supporters may be at risk of being charged with communicating with the enemy, a military crime that carries a maximum sentence of death. So that has two incredibly important ramifications. First of all, WikiLeaks is now considered the enemy, like al-Qaeda, Taliban, etc., by the United States government. Second of all, if you communicate with anyone that is a WikiLeaks supporter, that could be communicating with the enemy. But wait a minute, I support WikiLeaks. I don't know WikiLeaks, I don't know Julian Assange, but I've interviewed Julian Assange, and I agree with WikiLeaks. I think our government is withholding information from us, and I think when we release that information, it helps our democracy. This is insanity. It's because we keep letting the government take more power, and nobody ever rises up and says, damn it, that's enough. And WikiLeaks is doing the job of journalists. And of course, unfortunately, a lot of our journalists here in the U.S. have bowed their heads and promised never to hold the government accountable. That's what they do through their actions. They're stenographers. So when WikiLeaks does hold them accountable, they're jealous. Are you kidding me? The rest of the press in America should flip out over this. They're coming after you, don't you get it? Even if they weren't coming after you, you should be defending this guy completely. He does what a journalist is supposed to do, uncover what our government is doing. We don't live under a dictatorship. We live in a democracy. We're supposed to have that information. It gets worse. They say, according to the U.S. Uniform Court of Military Justice, that communicating with WikiLeaks or their supporters could be, quote, communicating with the enemy, 104D, and communicating, corresponding, or holding intercourse with the enemy. Funny use of words. Obviously, same thing here, which is WikiLeaks is an enemy of the state. Julian Assange is an enemy of the state. And under no circumstances do we want him talking to anybody. We got to make sure that we can isolate him and target him. You know, look, what the U.S. does to enemies of the state is not pretty. We've done it in Yemen, we've done it in Somalia, we've done it in northwest Pakistan, we've done it in a lot of places. I hope to God that's not what they have in store for Assange. Probably not, because honestly, he's white and he's Western. So he's not likely to get a drone strike. But God knows what's going to happen to him if U.S. authorities actually get their hands on him. Look at what they did to Bradley Manning. Stripping him naked every night for no reason, putting him in solitary confinement for no reason, keeping him for years before actually charging him with anything. And we already know that the National Defense Authorization Act has passed here in the United States that allows for indefinite detention by the military. Now, it even allows for it for U.S. citizens, but Julian Assange is not a U.S. citizen. They could keep him forever without ever giving him a trial. Gee, I wonder why Assange doesn't want to go to Sweden when they say they make no promises that they might turn him over to the United States. And finally, they say that WikiLeaks, according to these documents that have been revealed, are, quote, anti-U.S. and or an anti-military group. And I guess that's the biggest crime you could make in this day and age in this world, is to be anti-military. If you are anti-military, boy, are you an enemy of the state. Man, this is deeply disturbing. Unfortunately, we're one of the few here who's actually disturbed by it.